He threw away his broken umbrella. An alien mother used it to save her dying baby. Marcus Hayes stood at the corner of 5th and Madison, staring at the twisted metal ribs of what used to be his favorite umbrella. The wind had finally won their 3-year battle, snapping to frame during his walk from the subway station. Rain poured down his collar as he held the useless thing, water streaming off the inverted canopy like a broken fountain. "Great," he muttered, tossing it into the green dumpster behind the coffee shop. The umbrella landed with a hollow clang among the cardboard boxes and garbage bags. Marcus pulled his jacket over his head and ran the remaining 2 blocks to his apartment, leaving the broken umbrella to its fate. He didn't think about it again. Not when he peeled off his soaked clothes, not when he made dinner, and not when he finally collapsed in a bed around midnight. The umbrella was just another casualty of city life, forgotten as quickly as it had been discarded. But the umbrella story was far from over. At 2:47 a.m., a sound like tearing silk split the air above the alley behind the coffee shop. The space itself seemed to wrinkle and fold, creating a shimmer that bent the streetlight's glow into impossible angles. Then, with a flash of violet light, 2 figures tumbled through the opening and crashed onto the wet pavement. The larger figure was humanoid, but clearly not human. Her skin had a faint iridescent quality, shifting between purple and deep blue in the dim light. She was tall, nearly 7 feet, with elongated limbs and large, luminous eyes that reflected the city lights like mirrors. She wore what appeared to be some kind of fitted suit, now torn and sparking at the seams. In her arms, she cradled something small and writhing. The baby was tiny, no bigger than a human infant, with the same shimmering skin as its mother. But something was wrong, terribly wrong. The child's skin was flickering, its light pulsing erratically like a dying star. Where it should have glowed with soft violet luminescence, dark patches were spreading across its tiny body. The mother let out a sound that was part sob, part harmonic tone that made the air vibrate. She pressed her hand to the child's chest, and Marcus's abandoned umbrella, protruding from the dumpster nearby, began to vibrate in response. The mother's eyes locked onto it. She stumbled to the dumpster, her movements desperate and clumsy. Her own light was fading too, though not as quickly as her child's. With shaking hands, she pulled the broken umbrella from the trash, examining it with an intensity that suggested she was seeing something far beyond its physical form. The rain continued to pour, and the mother held the baby close to her chest with one arm, while manipulating the umbrella with her free hand. She placed it over them both, the broken frame creating an awkward, lopsided shelter. But then something extraordinary happened. She pressed her palm against the umbrella's metal stem, and the whole thing began to glow with the same violet light that emanated from her skin. The broken ribs straightened, not physically, but energetically, creating a dome of shimmering light above them. The fabric itself seemed to come alive, no longer just blocking rain, but actively filtering it, transforming it. The transformed rain that fell through the umbrella's canopy changed color, from clear to a soft, glowing blue. Where it touched the baby's skin, the dark patches began to recede. The mother positioned the umbrella carefully, angling it so that every drop of this transfigured water could reach her child. Minutes passed. The baby's flickering intensified at first, then gradually stabilized. The dark patches grew smaller, and the child's natural luminescence began to return. The mother was crying, her tears mixing with the rain, each drop glowing softly before it fell. She whispered to her baby in a language that sounded like music, like wind chimes and violin strings. The words were incomprehensible, but their meaning was universal. A mother's love, a mother's relief, a mother's desperate hope. The umbrella continued to filter the rain, creating a small pocket of otherworldly atmosphere beneath its glowing canopy. It was performing a function its creator could never have imagined, transformed from a simple weather shield into a life support system for an alien child millions of light years from home. As the baby's condition improved, the mother's own light began to stabilize as well. She had been holding back her own deterioration, channeling what energy she had left into finding a solution for her child. Now, with the baby recovering, she allowed herself a moment of weakness, sagging against the dumpster while keeping the umbrella steady overhead. The portal they had fallen through was long closed. Whatever disaster had forced them into this dimension had left them stranded. But for now, in this moment, they were alive. They were together. And they had an unlikely savior in the form of a broken umbrella that a tired man had thrown away hours before. As dawn began to break, the mother's suit stopped sparking. She pressed a panel on her wrist, and the fabric seemed to heal itself, the tears closing like living tissue. She looked down at her baby, now glowing with healthy violet light, sleeping peacefully despite the strange new world surrounding them. She looked at the umbrella with something approaching reverence. In her world, such objects might be sophisticated technology, crafted with intention and purpose. But this simple human tool, broken and discarded, had contained just the right materials, the right structure, to be converted into what she needed. The metal frame had conducted her bioenergy. The synthetic fabric had been compatible with her transfiguration field. Even its broken state had allowed her to reshape it more easily. It was, in its own way, perfect. Marcus would never know what happened to his umbrella. He would buy a new one the next day, a cheap replacement from the corner store, and never think about the old one again. He couldn't know that his moment of frustration, his casual discard, had placed an object in exactly the right location at exactly the right time to save a life. The mother stood slowly, gathering her baby close. She folded the umbrella carefully, its glow fading now that she had deactivated her energy field. But it was changed somehow. Even without the light, it seemed less broken, as if being part of something miraculous had restored some essential quality it had lost. She couldn't take it with her, where she needed to go next. Such an object would be more hindrance than help. But she placed it carefully against the wall of the alley, no longer in the dumpster, but elevated, positioned almost ceremonially. As she walked away into the breaking dawn, her baby secure in her arms, she cast one last look back at the umbrella. In her language, she spoke a single word. In translation, it might have been gratitude, or blessing, or perhaps simply goodbye. The umbrella remained there, a bridge between worlds, a reminder that sometimes the things we throw away carry more value than we could ever imagine, and that salvation can come from the most unexpected sources, even from something as simple as a broken umbrella on a rainy night. Marcus passed that alley the next morning on his way to work, new umbrella in hand, never noticing the old one propped against the wall, still faintly humming with residual energy from another world, still carrying within its bent frame the echo of a miracle.